Okay, so Rick and Morty Season 6, Episode 3, Bethic Twinstinct. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know where to begin with this episode. I guess I can start off just with what I thought about it. Not one of the best, the worst one of the season so far, and I know there's only 3 episodes out, but Episode 3 has been the worst episode so far. And not by a little. Maybe you loved it, I didn't. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't funny to me. In all honesty, I didn't laugh once. I didn't chuckle. I didn't hee-hee. I didn't ha-ha. I didn't... None of it. So Rick and Morty Season 6, Episode 3, Bethic Twinstinct, starts out where it kind of feels like it's going to be an intergalactic TV episode, except with video games. So I was pumped for that. I was excited. Turns out it was barely a B story. Every now and again clipping to it. It wasn't a B story as much as the Die Hard portion of last week's episode. Instead, it was more of a kind of cutaway gag versus a B-side story in this episode. Rick comes back as a turkey after pardoning himself, like from a previous episode in a previous season. Don't remember the name of it. Finds Morty setting up a new game station. I can't remember the name. But basically, it's a game station that lets you play the most realistic games in the galaxy. He sets it up, they start playing games. I think, okay, this is going to be like interdimensional television, except with video games. Alright, that seems awesome, right? That sounds cool to me. It's not. It's not what the episode is about at all. Because what the episode is really about, Beth falling in love with Beth, literally. Space Beth, clone Beth, fall in love with each other and get into a romantic relationship. That's the A story, and that's basically the entire story that is told this episode. So the B story is really just cutaways from the A story, not necessarily to tell a story, but in response to the A story, not a side story like the B story usually is. So we don't even get to really enjoy the full scope of what the B story could have been. Now, I don't know if they're planning on doing another interdimensional television episode this season or not. Feels like we haven't gotten one in forever, but we'll see. I thought it would have been cool to have interdimensional video games, even if you don't like video games. I think it would have been a more interesting episode if it was centered around that than it was about Beth falling in love with Beth. So as I said before, this season seems really to be about character development. I didn't really see it in this episode with Beth. So you have the 2 Beths that fall in love with each other. They try and hide it from the family. Summer finds out, goes to play video games. Morty finds out, goes to play video games as they're coping for seeing their mother hooking up, making out with herself. Jerry finds out, turns into a pill bug, and it ends with a threesome. So, not an enjoyable episode to me. Maybe you liked it. To me, I equate it to incest baby Rick Pendant spray from season 5. And that's more than fair to compare it to, because Space Beth does at the end of this episode. So why would they put that in unless they know this episode and that episode are practically the same? But maybe you don't. Maybe you think that's going a little too far. To me, I don't think it's going too far. Not in the sense that the storytelling in this one was, I guess, as bad as that one, but in the sense of, I feel like they did it more for shock value than for storytelling. Because at the end of it, Beth is still the same. I guess maybe she's realized that she does love Jerry? I don't know, because Space Beth just flies back into space to, I guess, act like it never happened. So I don't know what real development has happened, is going to have come out of this. It doesn't really seem like much. It really just seems like she shows up, makes out with herself, then leaves, and nothing has changed with her. Like she gets to have her cake and eat it too. Like she gets to be mother and she gets to be space her. Everyone else just has to deal with her, I guess. It was as uncomfortable as the incest baby to me. Because why would you ever make out with yourself? How would you you even be attracted to yourself? Whatever. It's weird. The other thing that I wasn't a fan of in this episode is Beth being upset at Rick for making a clone of her, even though that's what she asked for. And it's something that I can't understand, especially because she already knows about the vastness of the multiverse and that there's always another you out there. So what is having a clone of you? What does that matter? I mean, would it matter at that point? You already know there's a multitude of different yous. You're living in another you's life, in another dimension, but you care that there's a clone you, and you're upset at your dad for cloning you, even though you asked him to clone you. I don't get that. So that's basically the entire episode. The entire episode is them kind of sneaking around to have their relationship with a lot of other movie call-outs. There was a lot of movie call-outs in this one, so if you're a fan of movie call-outs, there is quite a few references. As far as the story, I didn't care for it. It wasn't entertaining to me. It wasn't funny to me. I could have skipped it and been perfectly fine. Maybe you loved it. Maybe you thought it was hilarious. I thought it was weird. I thought it was weird being in a relationship with yourself. That's weird to me. That's very narcissistic. That's very uncomfortable, but I guess it was meant to be uncomfortable because you're in a relationship with yourself. I just couldn't understand it. I didn't get it. It didn't make sense, and it wasn't enjoyable to me. It was the worst episode of the season so far. Again, I know it's only 3 episodes. Hopefully it ends up being the worst of the season. If it's not, that's not good, but let me know what you thought. Maybe you liked it. Maybe you loved it. Maybe it was your favorite of the season. It definitely wasn't mine. Leave a like and a subscribe. Check out the TooTaku podcast, and I'll see all of you in the next one.